Everybody, it's me, Tara from the vibrationelevation.com. And I wanted to take some time today because I wanted to talk about life and what it is all about. What free will is, what the path of life is, our chosen life path, destiny, and bring it all together for you so that it makes some sense because everybody wants to know, why are we here? So we've got the topics of destiny, our chosen life path. We've got the topic of free will, and we got the topic of karma to discuss today. Are you ready? Every soul is born with the topic of free will, with the choice of free will. But what the heck does that mean? How is it possible that we have free will if we have a predestined life path that we chose on the other side before we incarnated into this lifetime? What causes the limiting beliefs that we have is the past actions or the social or societal conditioning of what we are supposed to believe to conform to society. No. That is your ego being sucked in, and you will have nothing less than full potentiality if you allow your ego to interject. This is where you have to realize that the soul and the ego are two separate things. They are encompassed in one, but the ego wants to take over. The ego wants to believe it's all about me. It's all about what I'm doing. It's all about my actions. There is no other. There is no other experience other than my experience, where the soul realizes that it is all one collective experience for all of us to go through. What I do affects you. What you do affects me. So be done. So when you're being sucked into the realm of the ego and you're being stuck into those attachments of the past or the conditioning of society and the conditions of what you have been through, this keeps you stuck and complacent in the past. It keeps you attached to the ego. This hinders your soul's development, which is why you're here in the first place, is to develop your soul, to elevate, to rise above, to learn these valuable lessons so that you can progress forward through the soul's evolutionary process. Having faith in your soul's ability to create your life path on the other side before you even get to this lifetime comes with the knowing that your soul's life choices and lessons are your human experience to apply your free will to. Your life and your daily engagements are going to present opportunities to achieve these lessons to you, but the determination is, are you going to remain stuck in these old patterns or move freely through these lessons and evolve your soul and raise the elevation of your own vibration? Listen, free will cannot control the circumstances and the situations of what life tosses our way. We can only control how we respond to these situations. Those choices that we make are our own free will, but you can't have the free will that you desire if you are actually living a life that is preconditioned. You have to break free of those societal and parental conditions and remember who you are in order to apply free will choices. These are our responses, not our reactions to what life has to offer us, to the own lessons that we signed up for while we were on the other side. It's the choices of how we respond and not react that encompasses our free will. So having a will is a part of the essence and quality of the soul, an aspect of your soul. If the aspect of will identifies with your ego, you're never going to have true access to free will. This creates what's known as a false will, which everybody goes around and tells you that you have free will, but actually you're acting on false will because it's recognized with the societal conditions, with the programs, with the behaviors that are coming from the past that need to be broken free from. This is when you let go of that false will. This is the ego's version of what the soul's aspect of will is when you're in the false will, when you're based on the ego's fears and coping strategies. This will conflict with life, and life is a universal will, because again, what I do affects you, what you do affects me. It is ever-flowing universal energy, and only the ego thinks it's about just themselves. It's not. This needs to be addressed, and it needs to be recognized and made aware of, because it identifies in a resistance and not in positive action. And when you are working from a place of ego, you are preventing all of the positive joys and happinesses coming into your life, into your world. You are repelling that energy because you are encompassed in a one of self and not a oneness of collaboration and collectiveness of the entire universe. So to overcome this, you need to be engaged with life. You need to be attuned to the life energies and allow life to unfold naturally without resistance, and choose the appropriate response, not reaction, to how you deal with that situation. Free will is not trying to force or make things happen. Intention is consciously committing to how we respond to those events and not trying to control those events, okay? The mind, the body, the soul connection. Every morning we should wake up and we should reaffirm that we are going to choose how we respond to life, not try to control life. When we try to control life, we wind up in misery, we wind up in ego, we wind up in those lower vibrating energies and feelings that we do not want to be a part of. You may not be able to choose the happenings of your life, but you do get to choose how you respond to those situations. And we need to drop any preconceived ideas and agendas of what and how circumstances will or are supposed to occur, or what the predictable outcome is supposed to be. That is not part of free will. That is part of life unfolding. Free will, once again, is how you're going to choose to respond to those situations, how you're going to choose to respond to those events. Set the intention to evolve spiritually, psychologically, intuitively, creatively, peacefully, and patiently, into being a more awakened and enlightened spiritual soul that is here for the life's journey to get the lessons and the blessings so that the soul can evolve and raise the elevation of vibration to the next place. Karma, I love karma. Karma is a Sanskrit word for action. A lot of people think of it as the consequences for the actions that you have taken, or the law of cause and effect, really. People think that there is suffering in karma. Suffering is not because of karma. Suffering is part of a life lesson. For whatever reason, it's part of the evolution and growth of the soul. So you may have chosen to come into this lifetime and be diagnosed with a terminal illness and go through all of the suffering and debilitating qualities that are attached with that illness. That suffering may be because you did not understand suffering for somebody else in a past lifetime, and you wanted to understand it firsthand on your own so that your soul can evolve and grow from it, okay? But that is not the same thing as karma. That is completely different. Karma is not a divine justice or a retribution. It is not an eye for an eye. Karma is the restoration of balance. Karma is stored within you, it is stored within me, and it is reactive when we activate it. And how we activate karma is with the soul's low vibrating energies. Well, the egos, I really should say, because the soul doesn't really have lower vibrating energies. It's the ego that does. But when we fall victim to the emotions of fear, of shame, of guilt, anger, resentment, regret, hatred, self-loathing, those all come with karmic attachments, because we are placing those energy fields upon ourselves, those limitations upon ourselves, which means that because we've applied them, our own thoughts come back to replay them in a karmically way, in a karmic balanced way. Now, you can alleviate that. You don't have to be the victim of what you think that you have done to somebody else to hurt them, You can replace that. You can heal that. You can repair your own karma by applying acceptance and love and knowing that who you were is not who you are, and that you should not regret the things that you have done, because living in regret is a lower vibrating energy. But if you live in regret, then you haven't really learned and evolved. You are still stuck in that lower vibrating energy. No regrets ever, because all that you have done, all that you have been, has made you who you are today, and you should be a better person today than you were back then. You are not the same person. So you can heal yourself. You can heal the balance. You can own your own low vibrating energies and apply love and acceptance with no regrets. And then balance is truly restored. And then all the negative beliefs and emotions that are associated with the actions have been neutralized, getting you out of that cycle of victim and attacker or victim and aggressor. Everything happens in life for a reason. That is a development of conscious. The reason that we go through these issues, these situations, events, challenges, is so that we can develop higher conscious awareness as souls. Stop resisting life. Stop judging everything. Stop waiting for things to be different, because all is perfect here and now, because the divine creator, because the universe says so, because your soul wrote these lessons into your life's path journey before you even got here. So stop waiting for change. Stop judging things, thinking that they're going in a bad direction, and start redefining the way that you respond to these things. Do not react. Respond to these things. The ego is never going to accept that bad things happen to good people. The soul knows that bad things happen to good people so that they will learn how to evolve spiritually through their progression of the elevation and elevation of their own vibration, to how to get to the other side, how to be more spiritually aware, how to be more spiritually in tune, okay? But the evil behaviors that result from bad behavior, from not being corrected by living in a place of ego, is the result of highly disturbed ego structures. An ego structure is a childhood trauma or a confusion, a chaos that was left unhealed and unaddressed from childhood. These traumas and confusions are resulted from innocence, immaturity, and incapacity to deal with such big challenges, such trying times, such higher sustaining principles, so to speak, than the older mind. The younger and immature consciousness is having a very hard time dealing with things and overcoming the challenges that had been presented to them at childhood, which those events leave a trauma on. And those childhood traumas cause these ego structures, which allow for the ego to act in malicious and evil ways. This means that when people are doing evil behaviors to others, it actually is stemming from a place of innocence, and that it really needs to be addressed and healed with love, compassion, and understanding and acceptance, but not from others, but from that person, so that they can evolve their soul out of the cycle and then apply free will and choose to act differently in how they respond to different events. The price of free will is karma, and that karma is attached to us, to our emotions, to the things that we've been through, and what we expect from those actions as a result.